Hello, and welcome to the Sprint Innovate 2025 Career Nav Design Thinking Training. And I'm Al McLeod. So I call myself an ever-evolving innovator because since my retirement in 2019, that's what I've done. I've just learned and worked with academic institutions. So, for example, Redford College, U of M, U of W. I'm teaching at U of W now in the winters. I also collaborate with various institutions, like, for example, I'm the chair of the Redford College Polytech ACE Project Space. I work on events with them, like Sprint Innovate, of course, and I really enjoy spending time with the colleges, working with the colleges. I'm also a startup advisor. I work with a number of different startups on a monthly basis as a mentor. And finally, I'm an innovation and generative AI enthusiast. Previously it was all about innovation. I spent all my time working with on design thinking, innovation engineering, corporate innovation, those kind of things. But now I'm really kind of bringing together generative AI and innovation together, and that's really kind of what I spend my time on now. I'm a member of the Manitoba Association of AI Professionals as well. I'm really happy to be working with that organization. So let's talk about today. Our goals for today are to provide an overview of innovation and design thinking, do a case study based, really fast design thinking training, provide guidance and tools for a design thinking project, and then we'll also do some pitch training. I'll do the pitch training in a separate presentation though. So let's talk about when innovation happens. It happens at the intersection of these four lenses: desirability, do customers want it or need it? The human lens. Viability is all about business. Should we do it? Is there a business model that works? Feasibility is all about technology. Can we do it? And finally, integrity is about the impact on planet and people. Does our innovation make the world a better place or cause harm? And that's where innovation happens, at the intersection of these four lenses. Design thinking says to go at the problem from the human lens. So we're going to use the Bank of America case study to talk about the stages of design thinking. This is the design thinking model. It's got 5 different stages in 2 different spaces: the problem space and the solution space. We have this tagline: don't fall in love with the solution, fall in love with the problem. And what that means is, if you don't know what problem you're solving, don't go spend a bunch of money and time coming up with solutions that may only make you happy versus customers. So we recommend you come in here and you work on empathy first, define, etc. Go all the way through once at least, and then you can iterate all you want. So don't fall in love with the solution, fall in love with the problem. So let's use our case study. So first is the Bank of America hired design agency IDEO to boost their enrollment numbers. They asked, how might we encourage new customers to open bank accounts? So this is the initial challenge. So IDEO worked with the bank, and they pulled together a bunch of customers, did a bunch of research. This is the empathy stage, where you're really trying to understand the customer's point of view and stakeholders as well. And you're really trying to understand, get insights and stimulus, and really kind of understand what's going on. So they found one woman rounded up in her checkbook for easier calculations and a buffer. They found that single mothers struggle with savings, had nothing to put aside, and that even a small amount saved is good, provided a financial buffer to help manage financial security. So they took all that information and now they bring that into the defined stage. And this problem was reframed as, how might we help families save money? And the way you do that is you take all of this rich information you got in that first phase, empathize, and you cluster it together with like information. So let's say all the information on banking or all the information on costs or expenses. You put it all together, and then your team kind of comes up with, what is the problem we're going to solve and for which customers? So in this case, how we might help families save money. So then we put together a diverse team of product managers, finance experts, software engineers, and operations people in the ideate stage. So now you're going from learning about the problem to solving the problem. And we did 80 product concepts and came up with one favored idea. And now we're going to do the prototype for that favorite idea. And that is the cartoon video displaying the Keep the Change program. Keep the Change program is a program where you get a debit card linked to a bank account, which is not your usual bank account. When you spend money on that debit card, you pay $2.30 for a cup of coffee. charges your credit card, your debit card, $3, and takes the 70 cents change and puts it in a separate bank account for you. By the end of the year, you have a couple $100 in your bank savings account that you didn't expect. So the team then tested the prototype in an online survey in the test phase with 1,600 participants, and then they iterated prototyping and testing to get to the final solution. And of course, as I said, you can go back to any of the stages that you need to go back to. And so finally, the Keep the Change program quickly took off. First year attracted 2 million customers. It's since grown to over 12 million. We've saved a total of $2 billion. And 3 in 5 new Bank of America customers choose to enroll in the program with 99% program retention. So today we're going to learn design thinking by using another case study, this one called CareerNav. And so this is a company I'm going to be starting up called CareerNav, a pretend company. And the question that I asked is, how might we support students along their career path? So we enter the problem space here, and we're going to work on empathize and define first, as we said before. So the first stage is empathize. So why? To understand what customers care about, identify the real customer problem to solve, and to get rid of those assumptions and uncover the customer needs and really understand the problems that can be solved. So how do you empathize? 2 main ways: by understanding the perspective of the target customer, by observing, engaging, watching, listening, become a customer yourself, for example, and then doing secondary research, like using AI. It's a terrific assistant stack, learn a broader context and perspectives, understanding the stakeholders and systems involved, learn about recent innovations and challenges of the subject area, and get facts and figures you need to understand the context of the challenge. So here are some of the generative AI tools I use. And to be very clear, these are just tools to me. These tools, although they enhance human creativity, they're not really creative into themselves. They need someone to pilot them. So these are some of the tools I use. I use ChatGPT and XMind for mind mapping, Gemini sometimes, as well as ChatGPT, Napkin AI for creating some really great infographics. You'll see some of those in this presentation. Perplexity for AI-enabled search, and Wizard as an AI-driven prototyping app. So the next thing you do is do secondary research. So we found this information from Randstad. We looked at Reddit. We found this 4 million member Reddit, which is just crazy. You read this thing, don't do anything they say. Same thing here. We looked at Facebook and some other places, and the same thing. It's just a dumpster fire of information. And LinkedIn, it's better. Of course, it's a professional network, but it's really not about you. It's about LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't there for you as an individual, right? So that's what I found. It's not personalized for you. So one of the things we found out is that there are the number of graduate students who graduate in Canada per year from colleges is about 600,000, and that number in the United States is about 3.5 million graduate a year. So we found this information from Randstad. It's about Canadian versus US students, and it talks about things like working remotely and scaling opportunities, sense of belonging, and career aspirations, which was the one that interested me the most. So they asked students about their career aspirations, and in Canada and the US, both groups of students, over 50% said they feel ambitious about their career, which we thought was a very interesting statistic. Another interesting number was that Canadians were 44% of them were worried about job loss, and only 20% of US students, which is interesting. So we then shadowed some college career counselors. We found out that they put on workshops and seminars and networking and job searching strategies and industry trends and stuff like that. Then they provide one-on-one counseling for things like resume reviews, interview coaching, and job search resources. But we then found some challenges, right? In that the technology evolves quickly, requiring counselors to stay updated on new tools, platforms, and job markets. We found that they had insufficient resources for niche career fields, and that they had limited personalized guidance due to high caseloads. Then we talked to students, and we found these top 3 career concerns. So career indecision. Many graduates struggle with uncertainty about their career paths, which can lead to a sense of lack of direction and indecisiveness. And job market competitiveness. The job market is highly competitive, making it challenging for new graduates to stand out amongst their peers. And from financial concerns perspective, managing financial responsibilities with an entry-level salary is a significant concern. So then we talked to employers and we asked about the skills they seek in new graduates. And we heard about technical skills like programming languages, design software, and especially generative AI, of course. We heard about soft skills like communication, critical thinking, and creativity. We heard about experience like work, hands-on experience through internships or projects or volunteer work, and desirable traits like initiative, eagerness to learn, and cultural fit within the organization. So, but now we've got a pretty good idea of what others think and what other stakeholders are doing. So now we talk to the students, and the idea is to go for interviews, kind of understand what they're thinking and feeling using these things called empathy maps, and then try to do a journey map. And we did a journey map for part of the problem. So if you're going to be able to do interviews, right, you want to make a plan. Who's going to do the interview? What roles are you going to have? Who's going to actually take notes? What question areas are you going to have? You want to listen more than you talk. Ask open-ended questions. Use things like the 5 whys technique, where you ask a question, they give you an answer, and you just ask another why to go deeper and deeper. Set up your roles before the interview so everybody knows what they're doing, and then dump your interview notes into a tool that we'll share with you. So then we thought about who are our potential customers, right? The ambitious student, uncertain major switchers, graduate school aspirants, and all of these aren't necessarily completely separate groups of students, but they're kind of like students that we saw, like when we talked, we heard these, coming from different specific angles. So then what we did was we asked a bunch of questions. And so we used this jobs to be done framework, which was created by Clayton Christensen. It's a really interesting method for coming up with categories of questions. So the first one was functional jobs. What practical tasks or objectives are students trying to accomplish? So for example, how do you currently go about finding internships or job opportunities? Get their feedback on that. And emotional jobs. This is about how they want to feel about their career journey. So things like, what does career success look to you? How important is work-life balance? And social jobs. How do students want to be perceived by others? How important is prestige or reputation? And then we had these last 4, supporting jobs. What other things do you need to do in order to support your main career goals? Like what personal branding or self-promotion strategies do you think you need? How do you plan to balance career development with other life responsibilities? Things like that. And obstacles and pain points are great, of course, because they're automatically problems. They may, and they could be groups of problems. So what's getting in their way of achieving career success? What do you see as the biggest obstacles to achieving career success? What parts of the job search or career development process do you find most frustrating? And then finally, success criteria. How will you measure success? How do you know if you've chosen the right career path? And how do you define career growth and how we measure it? So those are some of the questions we asked. This is the tool I talked about, where we're going to dump our interview notes. We're going to find out what are they influenced by, what are their tasks and goals, what do they think and feel, and what are their pain points. So first, for what are they trying to do? Make their parents proud, find a great job with a big tech company, to develop AI solutions that solve complex global problems, be a continuous learner, find a job that aligns with my skills and interests. That was a big one. And finally, make some money. What do they feel and think? Well, things are changing so fast, it makes it tough to make decisions. Changing careers is quite scary to people. How can I connect with the right people who can help me find a job? And how can I differentiate myself? It's very tough to get a big tech job. And finally, the pains, feel imposter syndrome when thinking of applying to one of those big techs, developing soft skills, overwhelmed by the job search process, and then that they sometimes freeze up during the job interview process. Who are they influenced by? Mentors, LinkedIn influencers, parents, career counselors, and generative AI itself. So then we thought, okay, so this ambition word keeps coming up again and again. So let's go with it. But our team had different definitions of ambition. So we said, let's see what ambition means. And we looked at a bunch of different ones. And we pulled this one out of the Urban Dictionary. It's indicative of the general definition. A strong general desire for accomplishment, wealth, or power, generally described as a positive trait. And they always talk about wealth or power or money. So, but what we did is when we were talking to these students so much, we realized that there was a different ambition, a different definition of ambition that we could use that we thought would actually pull in a bigger group of students. And that's this one. we've redefined ambition, reframed it into purpose, growth, autonomy, and security. So you start at the bottom with financial security as your foundation because you have to have money in order to survive. And it provides you with some freedom to do the things you need to do and some flexibility in case you need to do things, change what you're doing. And then this notion of purpose-driven impact, making a meaningful contribution in your work and causing some kind of positive change so you can get meaning and purpose out of your work. Growth mindset and continuous learning is about continually developing your personal side and your professional development, and just continually growing and learning and not becoming stagnant. And autonomy and fulfillment is the last one, and that's about work-life integration and pursuing your passions. So those are the four things that we reframed ambition about. The next thing we did is we talked to students who were in college, and we realized that a lot of them were having challenges. So what we did was we did this journey map. And in the journey map, the thing we focus on, of course, is these last two rows, low points and feelings. And we found a lot of challenges and concerns here. What we realized that we would maybe do something about the academic journey as well, not just a career journey. And we'll put that aside for now. And that's the end of the empathize step. So now what we've done is we've found out what the customer's pain points are and what their struggles are. We've understood other stakeholders like career counselors or future employees. And we really got a good handle. There's a ton of information we have now, which, of course, that's hard to make sense of. So the next step is the define step, which is where we're going to make sense of that information. So you'll understand more about the problem so you know where to focus solution. And you'll want to focus on the human and business parts of the problem and deeply understand customers' needs. So you're refining the focus of the problem to solve. And then what you want to do is you want to capture insights that you learn, questions or stimulus, and other research observations on a whiteboard and with sticky notes, and then group them and cluster them into themes. So things that are related to, their academic side, things that are related to, let's say, what their passions are. All these kind of different topics, you could group them together. And then the next step is to write a problem statement or more than one problem statement at the end of the define stage. And if you have more than one, you have to prioritize and choose the one that you're gonna work on. So here's some insights we captured from all these different sources, to make your parents proud, to make some money, all these kind of different ideas. Okay. And then the next thing we do is we end up with create a cluster of the themes. So the themes we got were career plan, skills and mindsets, networking, and job search. Okay. So now we, as a team, we get together, we talk about all these things, and as a team, and we say, okay, so what do we think is the biggest problem, and who has that problem, and what can we do to solve it? So we then decided that we're going to help ambitious students using our new definition of the word ambitious. And we created this persona, Gurpreet. She wants to have an impact in the AI field. So she's ambitious Gurpreet. 22-year-old single comp sci student specializing in data science. So her goals are to work at Google DeepMind or Microsoft AI for Good Lab, make an impact in the AI field. Her passion is AI for good. She wants to make her family proud and have a career full of continuous learning and adventures. Her pain points are she's nervous about her future, unsure about finding the right first job to start her career, as in occasional imposter syndrome, and her job search process she finds daunting. So the next step is to reframe the problem statement. But the first thing we do is create this thing called a point of view statement. So this is like Gurpreet is talking. So students like Gurpreet, who has ambitious career objectives and lofty goals, needs accessible, effective guidance and support to help them achieve their professional aspirations. So I think this is like her speaking here. So that then helps us create the reframe problem statement, which goes from how might we support students along their career path to how might we provide ambitious students with the tools and guidance to achieve their career aspirations. And that's the end of the define step, now that you've reframed the problem. So now we enter the solution space, and we're going to do a case study. We're going to ideate, prototype, and test now that we have a new problem. So now we're going to, by the way, at the end of the ideate stage, we're going to do a 10-minute coffee break. Okay, so now we're going to reframe. We've reframed the problem. Let's remind ourselves, and here we are. How might we provide ambitious students? Okay, so now we move ahead to ideation. So you're transitioning from learning about the problem to creating and exploring ideas. You want to think big, build on the ideas of others, remove constraints, have insights plus stimulus divided plus diversity equals great ideas. You want to start explore solutions, like brainstorm ways to solve the unmet needs of the customers. Do it quickly. Don't focus on quality or feasibility. Discuss ideas, clarify, and evaluate later on. And then we're going to talk about 2 ways to ideate: brainstorming and mind mapping. So here's mind mapping. Mind mapping is a great tool, one of my favorites. You can do it individually or in a team. So here you're going to do it in a team. So the first thing we do is right in the middle of our mind map, we put our problem statement or challenge statement. And then what we do is, as a team, we come up with topic areas. So we go around the room and you say, okay, so what are some topics that we should include in our mind map? Some areas to talk about. Well, let's talk about financial planning. That came up. Let's talk about career planning and strategic networking and mentorship, job hunt support. So you see what I'm saying? These are just different topic areas, right? Continuous learning. The next step, once you've got all your topic areas, is you then brainstorm each of those topic areas one at a time. So you say, okay, let's talk about health. Break that down. How could you break that down? Well, we can talk about healthy mind, healthy body, healthy relationships, balance, and then generative AI skills. So you can talk about creating like an AI first behavior as a behavioral attribute. You can talk about critical thinking and necessary need for generative AI, and then maybe joining an AI association. So you see, you come up with all of these different ideas. And by the end of it, you've got many ideas here. And now you've got this wealth of information. And the point of the dots is, so for example, here you've got this entrepreneurial framework, and you've got things like job search here, but you've also got up here job hunt support with AI's vision in that. So you can say, okay, let's take these 2 things together and see how can we make a bigger idea out of these 2 things. And the same thing here, right? So you've got your dot here. We've got here for chatbots and health here. And so then what could we create there? Like what's an idea that we could create that could be across all 3 of these? So for example, mindsets and health go together. And then being an entrepreneur goes together. So if you've got entrepreneurial mindset and you put those 3 things together, you can end up with a really cool, bigger idea. All right, so the next step is brainstorming. So brainstorming is a great process that has been given a bad rap, and mostly because of bad facilitation. So we're going to do it right. So first thing we're going to do after we talk about these rules, we're going to see an example. So the rules of brainstorming are, and this is, you think of yourself, one of you in your team will be the facilitator. The facilitator's job, you'll see in the next video that we're going to show, is to kind of try to enforce these rules. So you want to defer judgment, right? So these are judgment-free zones. Let the ideas flow. If anybody starts ragging on another person's idea, you basically tell them to stop. You let everyone come up with their ideas without being criticized. And for encourage wild ideas, embrace the most out-of-the-box notions. There's often not a whole lot of difference between crazy ideas or outrageous ideas and brilliant ideas. Want to build on the ideas of others. And so if someone gives an idea, you can say, oh, that's a great idea. And then add to it and make a bigger idea. But stay focused on the topic. Don't let people warn off to go off to other problems. But of course, use your common sense. Maybe there's a reason. One conversation at a time is very important, but there's a lot of creative people in the room, but you want everyone to get a chance to talk. Be visual, use colored markers and Post-its, and kind of make sure everybody can see things. That's why a whiteboard is great. And then go for quantity. For every, if you in a big session, you can have as many as 100 ideas. And Linus Pauling said, if you want good ideas, you have to have lots of ideas. So this is IDEO.
All right, team. Thanks for coming for a brainstorm today. We have a really interesting topic. The local zoo, the visitors are down 20%. So how might we boost the number of visitors to the zoo? This is a serious problem for them. They want to stay open. They need more funding, all this kind of good stuff. So let's spend a few moments now first and get a few ideas down. Remember, we're going for quantity. Let's see how many ideas we can get. And also, there's so many good ideas out there. Let's push ourselves, try to get closer to the ridiculous. That might be brilliant. All right, so I'll start us off. I had a date night. So, and you might hang out with the animals that are in action, if you know what I mean. All right, what else? What else you got? Oh yeah, what do you got?
What if we do a dress up like your favorite animal day? So it's like a costume theme thing.
Very cool.
What about zoo pop-up at places that kids frequent, the mall, school, parks?
Home Depot, I know, has programs for little kids to build, like, you know, birdhouses and stuff like that. So it could be all these different crafts, but they're sort of animal lessons, so
Love
kids
it,
learn.
love
And
it. I have a night camping, so you get to camp overnight there. So let's get a 5 or 10 more.
So I figure loyalty cards work for airlines and for burritos, so why not have it work for the zoo?
Building off the whole celebrity thing, what if like we pretend that animals are celebrities and we give out like a gossip magazine as an advertisement?
So for an hour every day, they vacate the cages, and you get to go swing on the bars and everything that the monkeys have. So, zoo turned playground.
That's awesome.
What we'll do next is we'll look at these and look.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about that. So the first thing is what I really like they did, and this is one of the ways you avoid some of the issues with brainstorming, is they gave them some time to come up with quietly on their own, to come up with ideas. So you can always come up with lots of ideas on your own, and then they start the brainstorming session. And that means even the shyest and quietest people have had a chance to come up with some ideas. It's the best way to do it. Then you get a group innovate. The other one is the woman who came up with the idea of the Home Depot animal lessons thing. What happened there was she came up with that idea. She didn't have a yellow sticky though. So because she didn't have a sticky, her idea didn't get put on the board. Now, the interesting part is that's her fault, but it's really the facilitator's fault because the facilitator's job is to run the meeting. The facilitator should have said, good idea, write me up a sticky, and then moved on. Didn't do it. So that idea didn't get on the board, which isn't good. So now we did our group brainstorming. We ended up with lots of different ideas. Okay. And then we then take our ideas that we've created and we cluster them. So we come up with these clusters: job search support, skills, innovation training, career manager, networking, and 2 separate ones: academic, career advisor, and LinkedIn and other APIs. So then we rank them. So career manager is number 1, skills is number 2, innovation training is number 3, job search is number 4, and network is number 5. And then we've got 6 and 7, of course. But the idea here is we're not going to do all these at once, but what we're going to do is prioritize some of these things in here, and we're going to kind of build over time this whole thing out, including these 2. So here's our concept card: Career Nav app for ambitious students. Ambitious students play hard and work hard. They're hoping to maximize their career potential and often have lofty goals before they even graduate. They often also feel imposter syndrome and therefore struggle with anxiety, even as they strive for their vision of success. How can we support them? Stakeholders are ambitious students and then other students as well. How does it work? We have developed a framework to guide ambitious students along their career. Apple used the framework and various AI methods to supercharge their efforts while helping them deal with any insecurities through practice, learning, and support. They'll focus on mindset and skills development, networking, mentor support, opportunity development, career planning, and innovation and creativity training. Specialized mindset skills such as growth mindset, innovation skills, and improv will be taught. Business model is freemium model for ambitious students to encourage adoption. The free tier, premium tiers, in-app purchases, ad-supported, sponsorships, affinity partner revenue, and e-commerce. We think that there's an opportunity for at least some of those different models. And that's the end of the ideate step. So now we're going to prototype. So why? To learn if the solution works with minimal effort and cost. You want to build to think and generate new ideas. You want to explain complex interactions and learn how to respond to your idea, others respond to your ideas. Start experiment with a solution and get real feedback, and then iterate and get more input. So some of the kinds of prototypes you can do are paper prototypes or journey maps or click-through prototypes, wireframes, storyboards, product description, feature sheets, skits, and anything else that explains the idea. So here's our prototype. It's for CareerNav. We did the prototyping in a product called Wizard, which is an AI-enabled UX tool. So here we are. You can see you've got a number of different tabs here. One of them is career planning. So here you're putting in your plan overview, your current plan, your backup plan, and your emergency plan. You're tracking your progress on all three plans, by the way. And you have action items, and you actually have resources to support you, and then your journaling as well. So that's a great tool. Unfair advantage is how do you actually make sure that you have a good understanding of what your assets are for when you go and in a competitive situation for jobs. And this is about making sure that you are competitive. A skills plan is one of our gamified apps, and it's an area where you can compete with others and build your soft skills and hard skills at the same time. Networking is building up your network. It's also API attached to LinkedIn, but it's all about getting the right people for your career. Innovation is a whole bunch of different innovation skills like a creative spark coach that will show you an improv coach for teaching improv skills, design thinking support, growth mindset, things like that, and then a place to store your ideas. Opportunity management is just about how you, when you have an opportunity that comes your way, either you find it or we find it for you, and how do you make sure that you manage it kind of like a project. And then community is just about how you interact with mentors and your peers in the network. And finally, a portfolio. What's your professional portfolio that you can use in your job search process? So then we created some prototypes. And the Career Ready Candidate is one we did. I'm not going to show you, but it's a chatbot we did to help students within their academic career. You remember we did that journey map that kind of showed lots of challenges. This one is here to help you through your academic career become as ready of a career candidate as you can be. CareerNav is our main tool, and CareerNav is one of our main chatbots, and its goal is to support ambitious students and professionals with innovation, AI, and career growth. So you can things like, how can I navigate workplace politics? One of the things that always was a struggle for me in my career, and it really is a great tool that helps you with things like, here, understand power dynamics, build strong relationships. So at any point in your career, something like this, helping you understand the political situation is really helpful. I like this one, provide me with management baseline advice to match my career aspirations. I'm a Toronto-based ambitious comp sci grad who wants to have a career full of learning and adventures. And here's a financial plan kind of tailored to that person. And then, of course, you can interact with the chatbot after they give you the kind of good information. Okay, and so now the last one is Creative Spark Coach. Creative Spark Coach is a really cool app. It's one of my favorites, and so it'll give you a bunch of different creative challenges. For example, NASA and Cirque du Soleil. NASA meets Cirque du Soleil, and you would say, okay, so a traveling Cirque show, NASA themed planets, spacecraft, aliens. And it just, critiques your idea a little bit. By the way, it's very supportive, and then it gives you idea and it works with you on the idea. It starts to help you build your idea. It's great tool, great support, gives you different ideas, and it's really good at associating things. And that is our chatbots. So that's the end of the prototype stage. So now we're testing. So why? See what people think about your idea and flesh out the details and refine it. It's an interactive stage to get feedback. Does it solve the customer problem? And get feedback on prototype from customers. By the way, quotes are great in a competition like this. You can put them in your deck. And judging is also a test cycle, of course, because you get feedback. So we turned this into like just a 2x2 grid. I'm addicted to the crate. We have don't like questions and ideas. And I don't focus as much here. It's nice to see. It's all good. But the ones that interest me the most are these ones. questions. How does mentoring component work? I'm not clear on it, so obviously we need to tighten that up. And these two are really good, the ideas, right? More on AI. How about using AI computer vision to critique my interview practice and add financial management, which is a piece we don't currently have in our app. This one here, don't like, wish I had more community capabilities and lack of health and balance focus. So there's some things that we can build in and make people happier. So let's test this whole thing. So desirability, ambitious students want guidance and support in their career, viability, combination of free tier, premium tiers, in-app purchases, ad-supported, sponsorships, and affinity partner revenue. We won't use all of these maybe, but certainly we can use some of these. So we think we have a potential viable product we'd move ahead with. Also, we have a mobile app prototypes and AI chatbot prototypes. We've looked into the tech. We don't believe there's anything we can't do. So the tech we believe is proven. And finally, our objective is to help students be more successful and fulfilled in their careers, especially during these trying times. So we think it meets all the tests here. And that's the end of the test step. And that's our story. Our team is me and a group of AI dancing in the dark. This is a cheat sheet that will be in the library as part of this deck. And you can quickly look and see in each stage that you're working in, what is it that I should be doing and what are some of the tools that you can use. That's it. And thank you very much for your time.